just want to say this last thing. Jeannie, I heard that you gave your mom the most trouble.
Yes, I do. I give you, he said, I give you the most trouble. Right? Isn't that right? Yeah, she said yeah. Can I have Mrs. Singh come up, please? Can you escort her up, Pastor? Escort her up, Pastor. Come on, guys, let's give her a clap. Make her come upstairs. Because I know behind every good man, it's a better woman. All right, give her a clap. She doesn't want to come. Thank you. I love you for letting him share with us. And now I'm going to turn it over to Homeland Security and Sergeant and Gunnery Sergeant to start the workshop. Thank you all for being here, and I'm so proud. Is the fraternal organization here? Please step up and come up from corrections. Yes, what do you do when you have to give them some lashes for being late and not on time? Let me introduce, they're from correction. They just started their fraternal organizations from corrections department. And he's the president. He'll introduce himself and tell you his titles because it's very important. My husband, Ray Prasad, Officer Ray Prasad, started all of this. He was the president of the Desi Society of Fraternal, and we serve every single Wednesday, building morale at Rikers Island. We serve over 200 to 300 people every single Wednesday, correction officers, while they did double and triple shifts. So they formed their own organization. I'm proud of them to collaborate with them because not everyone is doing the right thing by corrections. So, and you know me, you do right, I'll tell you do wrong, I'll tell you. They're supposed to collaborate with us and have 10 members here. He's the only one here. I don't like that, but tell them to come up. Whoever is here, come on up. I love them, and I know things happen, so I'll let you get off the CSU. I love you guys. Don't mind me, okay? Rashid also supposed to, but I'm very proud of this organization. So let me let you hear from him because we plan on doing a lot of work on Rikers Island. It's needed.
Here. Good morning, everybody. My name is Shaukat Shah, and I'm the president of Pakistani American Law Enforcement Society, and we just formed this society like less than a month ago. So that's why you don't see any insignia. She forced us to wear one white color. I don't know why, but so I have to listen to her. She's wearing black, but I'm wearing white for whatever reason. I just came from office, so I'm still working. I just took my shirt off and put white shirt on. So correction, like she said, her husband, Ray, he's not here?
No, he has a detail.
Okay, so Ray Prasad, he started actually Desi Society, which is combination of like many other societies. My vice president is here too.
Come on up, whoever is part of this organization.
Rashid, come up here. Yeah. So we just started, and we had one combined Desi society, which included Bangladesh people, Indian, Guyanese, and everybody. So eventually we separated, and now somebody else is president of all those other societies. This is Rashid, the first vice president of PALS. So say something about that.
Good morning, guys. Good morning. My name is Officer Rashid. I'm a part of Desi Society with this beautiful lady, and Officer Prasad. From there, I'm with the Pakistani American Law Enforcement Society. I'm trying to help each and everyone. I think that's all right now. Thank you.
He's undertaking. These guys, they're handpicked. You guys know me. You're going to work. And these are the guys who show me their true blue during the COVID. He was the one you call. He's there. He's working. He did no questions. That's why they're standing with us and collaborating. And I love unity. That's why we all look professional. We don't look like, you know, they will next time you see them in the real deal. It's only a month. You see, we are very, see my peak PCAP. But thank you guys. I'll deal with you guys later, your penalty later. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you for being patient with me.
All right, well, good morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning. No further ado, thank you for showing up. Thank you for your attention, and welcome to all the different agencies. I like to see that. You know, we have Homeland Security, we got the military, we got National Guard, we got the Palestinian Organization, the U.S. Federal Chaplains. Anybody else I missed? Seems like a long list of people today. But second chance, yes. How could I forget, right?
Pakistani.
Yeah, oh, what'd I say? Okay, my apologies. So without further ado, before we get started, if there's any type of an emergency in the building, there is an exit, the one we came in, and there's an exit behind me. We'll follow building staff out the door because they know this place better than me. September is Emergency Management Month. At the end of this presentation, there's going to be a QR code. I do encourage you to scan it with your smartphones. You'll gather all the information we spoke about here today, and then some of the fine print, some links for additional resources, things of that such. So like we said, New York State Department of Homeland Security Emergency Services is with us. They have our subject matter experts. They're here to assist me, assist you, and answer any in-depth technical expertise questions you may have at the end. They also brought the bags, which we all hopefully registered for. If you did not do so yet, please see that gentleman in the back. I'm joined with Sergeant Lee. He's an officer candidate in the National Guard. And I am Gunnery Sergeant Egan. I am a U.S. Marine with the New York Naval Militia, working for and with the New York National Guard to give you this program. So without further ado, the Citizen Preparedness Corps. So this program was started in 2014 due to the aftermath of 2012 Hurricane Sandy. Governor's office sat down with some of the big brains, and they said there was a lot of victims in New York City and New York State that if they were a little more prepared, maybe wouldn't have been victims, right? So that's our main goal today, is to get you thinking, get you prepared, and get you prepared for an emergency situation, right? The goal is to save you and your family. So everything in this presentation, nothing is rocket science. There are no government secrets. Sorry to disappoint you. It's everything you probably already know, but we don't think about on a daily basis, right? We live in New York. We're pretty busy. We've got a lot going on. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to sit down for an hour or so. We're going to discuss some important topics of how to be prepared. We're going to go through preparing, responding, recovering, and getting involved, right? I like to call those the 4 pillars of this presentation. So potential disasters in New York State. We have our natural disasters, right? Hurricane Sandy. Human-caused disasters, terrorism, 9/11. Technological and cyber, blackout 2003, right? And biological disasters, West Nile disease, anthrax in the mail, Washington, D.C., 2003 timeframe. Natural disasters, we have hurricanes, tropical storms, flooding, thunderstorms, lightning, tornadoes, extreme temperatures, winter and ice storms, and earthquakes. So other than tornadoes, which did happen in Jersey about 6 months ago, I'd say from last year till now, we've hit every one of these, right, to include earthquakes. We've had about 3. 6 months ago. I sound pretty good. Human-caused disasters, right? We spoke about terrorism, 9/11, preventable fires, dam failures, structural collapses, chem bio, active assailant, and active violence, right? That's a big one. We're going to go through all these today and then some. Failures of systems. Think of power outages, right? We have communication failures, internet failures, transportation, power plant, and cyber incidences, right? We rely a lot on technology, and we don't really understand or know. I don't say we take it for granted, but we're so used to it that if you were to remove it, we'd find ourselves like staring at the wall like, oh no. Biological disasters. We've got our pandemics, epidemics, animal diseases, and contaminated food. By a show of hands, does anybody know the difference between a pandemic and an epidemic? Because they do get confusing. You're not allowed to answer. You know all the answers. All right, so pandemic versus epidemic, right? When you think pandemic, think huge, right? The world. So COVID-19, pandemic, right? Everybody was involved. Now, if it's a New York City or New York State issue, think like Ebola, Legionnaires, something centralized to just New York City. That's an epidemic, right? So as big as New York City is, we know we're the center of the universe, right? But versus the world, that would be an epidemic. Preparing. We're going to prepare you, your home, and your family for disaster. We're going to discuss the why. The way I would explain the why to my 6-year-old daughter would be slightly different than I'd explain it to my 66-year-old mother, right? So same end result, right? We're all crossing the finish line together, but the why is a little different because they're at different stages of their life and how we're going to do things. We're going to identify types of disasters most likely to happen. Nothing's impossible, nothing's off the table, but there is a most likely to least likely. We're gonna choose 2 places to meet if we're displaced, right? Talk about it now, not during or after the event, and I'm gonna say that a couple times today. Create an emergency plan, emergency communication plan, right? Because, like I said, if power goes out, you're gonna find yourself like, what do we do now? Develop an evacuation plan. Know your escape routes, where to go, what to bring, and plan for your pets, right? They're part of the family. Plan for the whole family, adults, children, family members with disabilities, and access to functional needs, right? Because these are all special categories, and we need to figure out how we're gonna get everybody to that safe place. Coordinate plans with workplaces, schools, daycare centers, elder centers, or senior centers, right? And not limited to, all those places have their own plans, right? So to best know those places and their plans, if you deal with any of those organizations, will help you build your plan around theirs. Creating emergency kits, right? To include vehicles, we have 3, but we'd have 2 main kits. We'd have an at-home kit, which is a large kit that would sustain your entire household. We'd have a smaller grab-and-go kit, like your go kit. So backpack size, many of you I've seen bring smaller backpack bags today. Doesn't have to be a backpack, but I recommend it because it's hands-free. And everything we do, we're gonna think about on a 10-day basis. Everything we prepare for, everything we plan for is 10 days has been designated as the survive for 10 days and hopefully help will be there, right? Consider your individual and stage of life needs. Do you have infant and babies at home, right? You might need special things for them. Child needs, family members with disabilities, access and functional needs, older adults, and pets or service animals. Customize your kit. Think about those with access and functional needs, right? Do you have disabilities, children or older adults, limited income or lack of transportation, diverse cultures, right? We're gonna be mingling a lot of different cultures and a lot of points of view together, but at the end of the day, we're all human beings and we're all gonna survive together. Recognize and identify neighbors who require additional assistance, engage with them on needs that they might have or need during an emergency or disaster. Neighbors are often the first to respond to a neighbor in need. Does that make sense? They're the closest ones. Whether you like or dislike them, they know you the best, right? You guys are staring at each other every day, 5 days a week, 7 days a week. They know when you go to work, they know when you come home, and you probably know when they come and go as well. Now, first aid kit, I'm not gonna get into everything here, but just know, buy one of these pre-made first aid kits. You should have one already. If not, go out and get one, Amazon, Walgreens, CVS. They're pre-packaged. Nothing in here is gonna make you an EMT or a surgeon, but I do encourage you, go home, open it up, familiarize yourself with what's in it, unwrap things, get them ready to go, right? You don't wanna wait to that unfortunate day where there's a medical emergency, open it up and not know what's in there or how to use it, right? So we're all about preparing, so learn and prepare now. Personal protective equipment. You have your masks, gloves, work gloves, eye goggles, reflective vests, and closed-toe footwear. These are just things that are gonna add a slight extra layer of protection for you during an emergency situation, right? I don't think that's a bad thing, but be prepared. Food and supplies, right? Things you wanna get together. Energy bars, ready-to-eat canned food, non-perishable food, manual can opener, disposable utensils. So make it make sense. You don't have to buy, I mean, if you wanna go out prepping websites, you've seen a commercial, looked really cool, nothing against it, right? But make it make sense, because 10 days or more, you wanna be eating something you enjoy eating. If you can make it fit into these criteria and these categories, you know, non-perishable canned food, but it's something you enjoy eating, that's a 2-for-1 right there, it's a win. Now, water. Probably one of the most important things, right? You can go longer without food than you can water, right? So 1 gallon of water per person, per day for 10 days. That's 10 gallons of water per person, about 4.5 cases. Not a huge deal, right? Space is probably the biggest deal, but when you start having 5, 6, 7, right? 9 children in the household, plus mom, 10 people in the household, right? That's 1,000 gallons of water. That's a lot of water. Excuse me. Basic hygiene, toothbrush, toothpaste, baby wipes, eye care products, travel size soap and shampoo, travel size lotion and deodorant, towel and washcloth, feminine hygiene product, and most importantly, right? By being on medications, it doesn't mean you're unhealthy, right? But as we get older, unfortunately, we do add a lot of medications and prescriptions to our daily diet to stay healthy, right? So it's recommended you have at least a 10-day supply of extra medications on hand, because during an emergency, you know, pharmacies might be closed, your doctor's not answering the phone, but it's a blanket of safety to have 10 days worth of prescription medication that you or a family member needs in the event of an emergency. Now, emergency tools. You got your cell phones, your LED lanterns, flashlights, spare batteries, multi-tools. Emergency radio, we recommend crank operated. What that means is you crank it up manually, and if you do it right for about 10 or 15 minutes, you should be receiving electricity through the radio and get broadcasts. And that's what you want to do. You want to listen for emergency broadcasts. Now, you don't need to plug it in. Doesn't rely on a charger. You don't need no batteries, no solar, right? If it has all those plus the crank, great. But if not, we do recommend at least a minimum of a crank-operated radio. Food and supplies when it comes to your pets. Pet food, garbage bags for cleanup, bottled water, food and water dishes, pet first aid kit, pet hygiene kit, 10-day supply of medications. There are pets that require medications. Make sure they can't go out to the pharmacy, so make sure you do your due diligence, protect your pet, get their medication squared away. Cat litter in a pan, leash in a crate, veterinary immunization records that go in your document holder, and we're going to talk about them coming up. The document holder, right? Make sure it's a waterproof document holder. This is going to contain all your essential and important documents, right? You want emails and phone contacts, medical history of medications, contact info for physicians and pharmacies, bank and credit card information, money, local maps. Now have copies of your birth certificate, marriage certificate, social security cards, insurance policies, and other important documents. So even if it's not listed here, but you have something to your individual needs you think is important, make sure it finds its way into that document holder. I always get somebody in the back that raises their hand and says they want their divorce decree in there, and that's fine. That's pretty important, right? Because in an emergency, it's not who you are, it's who you can prove you are. So make sure you have all that stuff on hand in your document holder. Now, insurance needs, right? Same thing. As we get older and life goes on, you're really successful people in here. I get it. We own multiple properties, houses, 10, 20 cars, right? We wish. You're going to come across homeowners and renters insurance, right? That is an important thing. It is something to look at. You should understand your coverage. Most policies don't include flood insurance, so that's something to inquire about. Do the extra step, do your homework, inquire about it, ask about it, get that additional insurance policy, add on. Especially if you think you're in a flood-prone area. Obtain it before disaster, right? Not during or after. Know what is and is not covered. Have an inventory of your property and valuables. Always reach out to the Department of Financial Services with any questions or concerns about your policies or policies you're looking at. Now, having an inventory of your valuables, right? The better documentation you can keep on hand, where you got something, how much it was, maybe pictures of it, serial numbers. It'll be that much easier in the bad day that you have to make a claim, right? So all the proof you need is right there. So you submit it to the insurance company. They can't really argue with you if you have the proof, and you should get your claim resolved, hopefully in a timely manner. Now that Go Kit we spoke about, make sure it's lightweight and portable, contains essential items, must be easy to access, grab and go. 1 bag per person. So even if my 6-year-old daughter is going to have her blanket and stuffed bunny in there, that's fine. If that keeps her calm during an emergency, it's going to help me do my job for the rest of the family, right? That makes sense. So everybody's part of the team, so everybody gets a backpack. Go Kit supplies, right? Things we've been speaking about, putting it together, sturdy bag, duffel backpack, first aid kit, protective supplies, sustainment, hygiene supplies, emergency tools, and the document holder. So everything we spoke about so far, you took your time, you took your effort, you put it together. Now make sure it all gets in that bag, because in the event we do have to grab and go, you don't want to be looking for things. Now preparing your vehicles, maintaining your vehicle. Keep your tank at least half full. With gas prices right now, it's roughly $3,000. Inspect your tires, proper tires for the proper vehicle, pressure, and thread. I always tell my wife, when our tire threads start looking like my bald head, it's time to get new tires. Store some emergency supplies in your vehicle, right? Most people, where you are, your vehicle is, so it's nice to know you have emergency supplies in it. Preparing your home. Fire, carbon monoxide, home utility safety, and personal safety. These are what we're going to look at when preparing our home. Smoke alarms, install them where lacking. In a nutshell, have them in every domicile, which is your bedrooms, every common area, every kitchen, every stairwell, and every level to the house, right? The more smoke alarms you have, if you have that bad day where you need them to alert you, you have a much higher survivability rate if you have them in a working order, right? Try to use daylight savings time as a marker on your calendar when to test and change the batteries to your smoke alarms. This way, there's no thinking involved. You don't need to remember dates. You just remember daylight savings time. When we're talking about home fires, the 3 categories we're most concerned with are A, B, and C. Your A fires, your ordinary combustibles, wood, cloth, paper. Your Bs are your flammable liquids, kitchen grease, oil, gasoline. And your Class C fires, electrical equipment, appliances, televisions, things of that nature, and you can go plug in. Now, make sure when buying a home fire extinguisher, you get one that covers A, B, and C. So it takes the thinking out of the emergency. One fire extinguisher for any fire, okay? Because if you have only a Class A fire extinguisher and you come across an electrical Class C fire and you spray that on it, it's probably going to make bad things worse. And you don't want that. So just check that it's covered A, B, and C, and you're good to go. Now we teach the PASS acronym, P-A-S-S. When grabbing a fire extinguisher and you're about to use it, you want to pull the pin, aim the nozzle, squeeze the handle, and and sweep at the base of the fire, right? And people ask why the base? Well, if you know anything about fire, that's the fuel source, and that's what's burning, and that's where the flames are coming from. So if you put that out, the rest of the fire should go out. Now, lithium-ion batteries, right? As you can see from this picture, we probably all have a stack of old lithium-ion batteries laying around the house. It's not really a great thing. If you have a cell phone, iPad, tablet, e-bike, drone, life alert, anything with a rechargeable battery, 99% of the time in this day and age, is a lithium-ion based battery. Now, if they're not treated properly, lithium-ion batteries can extremely overheat, creating thermal runways, which cause large, violent fires. So unlike traditional fires, which you need a fuel source plus oxygen, right? And sometimes you take away the oxygen, you can smother it. Lithium-ion based, for any science majors in here, it's a chemical burn, it's a chemical fire. The lithium-ion is what's burning. So you can't just put it out as easily. Now, purchase products from reputable manufacturers and vendors. Look at nationally recognized certification laboratory. Check for recalls before buying. So if you see one of these two stamped logos on your battery, just know that it met the higher standards of manufacturing and safety when they were putting them together. If they don't have it, I'm not saying you have a bad battery or a bad device and then throw it out, but it's nice to know that they met all the checks in the boxes as far as safety recommendations. Never throw away a lithium-ion battery in your household or trash recycling bins, right? You can go to batterynetwork.org, type in your zip code, it should give you the nearest location or locations where you can safely dispose of the battery and or device with the battery in it. Now this warning up here, right? When it comes to home utilities, when you're making them safe after physical damage or flooding, right? The utility shutoffs. Know where they are, how to shut the utility off, and if you need any special tools, right? The warning up here, if you yourself or family members shut the utility off, which is great, right? You're removing the problem from the house. Never, no matter how safe you think it is, never turn it back on yourself. Call the utility company, have them respond. They're the trained and paid professionals. They'll make sure everything's safe, they can turn it back on. Learning basic first aid. Why take a course? Responding to common first aid emergencies with confidence, right? Cuts, burns, head, neck, back injuries, heat and cold emergencies. Learning how to stop the bleeding could save a life. Now, depending on your life routine, your daily routine, whether you get outdoors a lot or you're always at work, you could take multiple types of courses. The American Red Cross, they offer online, in-person, and hybrid classes, right? So to meet your needs, everybody here should be able to take a course. Now, extreme heat. It's defined as 1 to 2 to 3 days in a row of intense heat and humidity with temperatures 90 degrees or above. So us being in New York, that's pretty much every July and August, right? So not if, but when. So just prepare, stay hydrated, watch out for heat emergencies, cramps, exhaustion, things of that nature. Taking steps to stay cool. If possible, install air conditioners and insulate them. Cover windows that receive morning, afternoon sunlight. Use fans to increase the airflow throughout the house. Go to cooling centers. I would just Google cooling centers. Every New York City public library is deemed a cooling center in the summer, so you can go to any of them, whether you're a library member or not. Cybersecurity is for everybody. Think of passphrases, not passwords. Use multi-factor authentication. Watch out for texting scams. Back up important information. Keep devices updated. Back up your data. Be aware of phishing scams. Monitor financial accounts regularly, right? So I don't know if you remember, I think it's 2 summers ago now, everyone in New York got an EasyPass email. It was not from EasyPass. Even if you didn't own an EasyPass, some people didn't even own cars, and then we got this email saying your balance was all messed up. Contact us, we'll get it fixed. Big scam, all right? So just, if somebody contacts you, especially not over the phone or you know, can prove who they are, don't believe it. Instead of clicking something and they say, you know, money was taken out of your bank account, go onto your banking app, check your history. If you don't see a transaction there, it's probably a scam. Be aware and staying updated. Your wireless emergency alerts, you can register for your alert system at alert.newyork.gov, 333-111. If you text 333-111, your area code, it'll give you localized updates for emergency alerts, warning sirens, emergency alert systems, and the National Oceanic Atmospheric Association. That monitors everything from the coastline out, right? So if there's a hurricane coming inbound, they're gonna be like the primary experts of how to deal with that. Responding. Listen for weather updates. Watching, right? Watch for conditions that are favorable. Be prepared. Warning, immediate and or already occurring, so now you need to take action. An advisory, weather impacts may occur, so just being aware is the first step. Look for updates from local officials, travel bans and advises, evacuation orders, and road closures, all right? These are all things that will help you with your plan. During most weather events, you have two main options: shelter in place or evacuate. If you shelter in place, use your plan for staying at home. Use your home emergency kit. If you're not home, seek or stay in shelter, right? Because you could still shelter in place. It's just not where you planned on. Evacuate. Follow local evacuation orders. Use your plan for leaving your home. And don't forget to take your go kit. If you're sheltering in place, maintain awareness. What is good today might not be a good situation tomorrow. So if you plan to shelter in place and tomorrow's not looking too good, say the fire is getting closer, the house starts flooding, you can also evacuate. You know, it's not like a one thing or no thing. You could enact sheltering in place and then evacuation next day. You never know. Check on your neighbors because, like I said, they're going to be the first ones in a relatively close manner to respond to anything you might need, and you might have to do so with them. Call 911 for anything life-threatening. Shut off damaged utilities. Ventilate generators and space heaters. You don't want those noxious fumes inside the household with you. Stay alert for boiled water orders. These are issued as a precaution because testing shows contamination that could cause illness, or issued due to physical damage to a water system, which increases bacterial contamination. So most recently, that second big snowstorm we had of this past winter, Westchester had a huge water main break. I actually seen on New York City local broadcasts that Westchester had a boiled water order. So they are real, they are relevant, and they are current. How to boil your water. Strain through a cheesecloth, coffee filter, or other type of filter. You know, I was speaking to a younger audience, and they said, coffee filter? They all have K-cups now. Nobody has a real coffee machine anymore. Bring water to a rolling boil for 2 minutes. Let the water cool. Transfer to a sanitized, covered container, and preserve the quality of water. Now, structural collapses. If you're trapped, call 911. Identify how you're trapped. The more information you could give them to respond to you, the better, because they'll be more well equipped. Try to free yourself. Call for help. If someone else is trapped, call 911 if possible. Identify their status. If you can free them safely without putting yourself or them in greater danger, try to do so. If not, just wait with them for first responders to show up. If you evacuate, follow official instructions, make it known where you're going, follow the plan for sheltering your pets, secure your home if there's time. Take your go kit, notify your contacts, and return home only when authorities have told you it's safe. Physical safety. So the pathway to violence, right? Personal grievance, violent identification, research and planning, preparation for violence, probing and breaching, and attack, right? This is the escalation pathway. This is kind of like how it escalates to a higher need. If you're in danger, call 911. If you observe suspicious behavior, call New York State, 866-SAFE-NYS. If you suspicious activity in the city, call 888-NYC-SAFE. If you see something, send something, right? So very similar to what we've all seen since 9/11 on a bus stop, train station, taxi. If you see something, say something. This is send something. Very similar. It has its benefits. If you go to newyork.gov, send New York, you could download the state's app. From that app, if you're in a situation where you suspect something is suspicious and should be reported, you can text it. Or if you're like me and I'm horrible with descriptions, you can take a picture and just send it straight through the app. Now, these are just locations not limited to where they call them active assailants now, and they're not always shooting or using guns. Where it happens, right, whether it be healthcare, government, public spaces, workplace, educational institutions, houses of worship, residences. Like I said, it could happen anywhere, anytime. I think we already kind of know that, but just bring it to your mind that nowhere is really safe if somebody with ill intent wants to show up. Now, targeted violence takeaways, right? Terrorist operations usually begin with extensive planning. Everyone can play a role in preventing violence. Early detection and reporting of concerning or threatening behaviors are key to prevention. Warning behaviors should be viewed within the totality of the circumstances. You can help prevent and detect terrorism and other types of crime by watching out for suspicious activities. Learn how to spot suspicious activities while preparing for an attack. People with malicious intentions may conduct themselves in ways that makes them stand out from others. Know the routines of your community. Always remain alert and aware of what's going on around you. An active assailant. It's an individual actively engaged in killing or attempting to kill people in a confined, populated area. In most cases, using firearms with no pattern or method to their selection of victims. Now, if you find yourself in an active assailant situation, right, you fall into three main categories: run, hide, or fight. A lot of people laugh when I say run, especially if we're doing it at like a senior citizen center or something, but whatever running means to you, right? Nobody in here, to my knowledge, is an Olympic athlete. Maybe you are. That's great. Even myself, I get slower as the years go on, but whatever running is to you, you're going to create as much distance as possible from you and the threat. That's running, all right? Hiding is going to buy you time. It's usually the most popular, only because if something was to happen in this building outside that door, I don't know where that exit goes, right? So I'm unsure of what's behind that door if I don't know where the attacker is. So I might choose to shelter in place or fight. You know, I like to think I would arise to the situation if the opportunity presented itself and fight my way through and be the hero of the day. But if I'm with my little kids or my parents, the situation might dictate that that's probably the last option. Knowing the procedures, where are the exits? Can you find more than one? If there's no exits, can you break a window? Can you get out? Like, know how, we're in New York, you know, you might be on the 20th plus story of a building, so it's not ideal to jump out the window. Sometimes I give these presentations a lot of sub-levels, right? So there's no windows. Make awareness part of your routine. Think about what we just taught you and what works for you. Do you have small children, mobility issues, individual needs, right? These are all things to take into consideration for your planning. Things to know about a law enforcement response to an active assailant, right? The first responding officer's main objective is to stop the threat. Police will immediately proceed directly to the area of threat. They will typically bypass non-threatening persons, including those who might be injured, right? So even though you need assistance and they're there to help you, stopping that threat is the first priority of them helping you. You're responsible for your own first aid. Take care of yourself first, then your buddy second, right? So if I'm mortally wounded, but I'm trying to help other people, I'm probably going to succumb to my injuries quicker, and I'm not going to be able to help anybody. But if I can get myself stable, then I'm able to help other people as well. Remain calm, raise your hands, follow directions. Now we're going to transition into recovering. Notify your contacts, conduct a structural check, check your utilities, check appliances, dispose of any waste, document your damage, contact your insurance company, identify disaster assistance, and be aware. There's many scams, unfortunately, when there's times of need or times of emergency. During Hurricane Sandy, a lot of people were showing up in the Rockaways with, you know, brightly colored vests saying they were there to help and they need to get into your household. Even if they're the real deal and you don't feel comfortable and you don't want somebody in your house, you don't have to let anybody in, okay? Surviving a disaster is physically and emotionally demanding. Everyone involved and exposed to a disaster will have a reaction. Seek help if distress continues, all right? The help hotline is 800-662-HELP, right? 4357. Getting involved. Many of you here are involved in different organizations, so you're already one foot in the door. Use your skill set. Volunteer to help with things you're good at. Answering phones, organizing donations, gathering volunteers. Let it be known what your skill set is so they could use you probably in the best means possible. Affiliate with a volunteer organization in your community, whether it be a CERT team, a Society of Prevention of Cruelty to Animals, AmeriCorps, American Red Cross, community-based volunteer organizations, faith-based and volunteer, career, volunteer, and fire and EMS agencies. So we are citizen soldiers and citizen airmen. We save lives, protect property, and mitigate suffering. So this is that QR code I spoke about before. I thank you for your time. I thank you for your attention. I hope you either learned or seen something new that you like to incorporate into your toolbox of emergency preparedness. At this time, I am going to open it up to Homeland Security. Does anybody have any questions for me? All right. Lee? Sergeant Lee? Lee? Yeah. Is Anthony available?
Oh, yeah, he's outside right now. Yeah, so please have them remain seated for now.
Okay.
And we'll give you the instructions, all right?
So you're still our hostages until you get your bags. So just give me a couple minutes. We'll get your bags in here. We have some certificates to hand out. Hope you enjoyed today. If you can think of anywhere else we could be used, if you have any other meetings or organizations that you want us at, please let us know. Contact us. The contact information is also up there. Thank you.
I had a question for you.
Yes.
Evacuation routes.
Yes.
Let's say somebody does not wish to go, but they're in danger. Does the city still respond if they give a call from their home?
So there's no such thing as a mandatory. There's no such thing as a mandatory evacuation. All right. Many people believe that if you're told to leave, you have to or you're supposed to. And some people still choose to stay. You can stay. It's just highly advised if they have enough intel that this disaster will affect you in the worst way possible that you should leave. But if you choose not to, it's a personal decision. It's a good question.
Anyone, if you have questions, this is your chance.
If I don't know the answer, I'm going to make it up. No, I'm joking. I'll find out for you. I'm going to go find out what's going on.
prepare for the backpack. So everyone pass the course. Thank you. Congratulations. Yeah, so I'm gonna give you the certification of completion, and if there's a remaining, you can pass it to your right side, okay? So, again, congratulations. Thank you. Everything remaining, pass it to the back. If there's any leftover, pass to your back.
Everybody lift up your certificates. Let's go.
Woo!
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, so Sergeant Lee's coming around handing out certificates now. Have your ticket or stub ready. Homeland Security is bringing in the boxes right now, and those contain the backpacks. So as you get a backpack, hand over your ticket, and that's how they do it. Make sure you hang those certificates on your refrigerators.